Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Invest Power series today. I want to talk a little bit about buyer's agents today because, as my client base continue to grow, I'm getting asked more and more about whether buyer's agents are worth it or not. And I think it's actually a very common question amongst investors because think about it, the amount of cost that you actually need to pay, especially in the tens, and thousands of dollars. It's not just like a couple $1,000s. It's actually usually in the tens, like looking around 10K to even 15K. That's as far as my understanding goes. For some buyers agents do charge that for their expertise. So a lot of people ask me whether there is a point in terms of using BA. So that's what I thought I'll cover today to give everyone a bit of my thoughts on why you should use a buyer's agent or not. So in my opinion, people use buyer's agent for three main reasons. One is because they don't have the time to research or look for a property. Two, they don't have the passion or have the expertise to look for the actual property. And three, they don't know enough connectivity, they don't have enough relationships around the area. So they're hoping that buyer's agent will be able to get some off-market deals for them. So in other words, to be able to secure good potential properties before they even go onto market. I reckon in general, those are the three main things why people would bother using a buyer's agent. So let's have a look at each. The first point, you don't have the time to look for properties. So we know that a lot of families in Australia, they think of it like having a couple and a kid. So they're usually fairly busy. Both the husband and the wife have to work in order to actually pay for childcare. in order to pay for the childcare. So as you can imagine, they're usually time poor, and the family time that both the mum and dad's able to spend with the kid when they got home is going to be very, very valuable. They do not want to be sitting in front of a laptop trolling after properties after properties. So if you are a time poor professional today and you simply don't have the passion to look for the property yourself or want to know about how to look for property yourself, then I reckon buyer's agent is your savior for the day, because you don't necessarily need to spend the time to actually look for properties. You do need to, however, have some knowledge about what sort of property that you're looking for. So when you sit down with a buyer's agent, you should be going through with him or her the actual briefing or what you want to get out of this property. What are your criterias? Are you looking for cash flow? Are you looking for capital growth? What sort of price range do you have? What finance? Have you got finance approved? Do you want subdivision potential? Do you want granny flat potential? How far is it from CBD? Would you consider regional? These are all the questions that you should think through, or at least have a discussion with your buyer's agent so that they understand what your briefing is and understand what property are you looking for in your next purchase. Because without these criterias, the buyer's agent have got no criteria to look for. How would they be able to understand what property is going to tick your box? So it's important to clarify exactly what you want out of this property, and you do that right before you see a buyer's agent. Okay, so no matter how time poor you are, make sure you clarify these criteria before you go and see a buyer's agent. But if you are a time poor professional and you want to dedicate your time in terms of making more income or spending quality time with your family, then I reckon you'll find good value out of using a buyer's agent. Point number two, you simply don't have the expertise or have the passion to look and research for properties. So this is very important. For those of us who's done the DIY or do-it-yourself way, without engaging a buyer's agent, know how much time it actually takes to find a property, to actually look online every day to find a property. And I can tell you, if you don't have the passion in property, you're not going to last. You might just casually browse it once every week or twice every week, hoping that you'll be able to find that dream property and it'll just be sitting there waiting for you. Ain't gonna happen. Let me tell you this, a good property, especially in the current environment, flies out the door very quickly, especially when you got, if it's a really good, attractive investor type of grade type of properties. I think I've said this numerous times, but when I was actually looking for a property back in the days, I would, one, check out realestate.com.au during lunchtime breaks, just a quick check through, sort by newest to oldest listing, and two, check it again after hours. Like when I got home, finished my dinner, spend another 15-20 minutes jumping online just to see what other quality stocks are there. And as you can imagine, that's twice a day, and you times that 7 days until you find the property that you want. So if you don't have the expertise, in other words, you don't know the area enough and you don't want to learn about the area, and two, you don't have the passion about property, then my suggestion for you is engage a buyer's agent, because they got the passion, they got the expertise, because they know the area very well. If they've been looking at the properties in and out during the suburbs that you're looking at, they should know the area really well. So you could test them. You could actually ask them questions. Why do you think the suburbs suit me? In order to find out whether they're the true expert for that area. Which then brings us to our last point. Point number 3. You want to be able to use a buyer's agent if they got good connectivity across the agent network and be able to get off-market properties for you. Now, this is quite important because most people actually try to get buyer's agent to help them with these off-market opportunities. And in all honesty, yes, they can actually get those. If it's a proven track record of buyer's agents, then yes, they actually get first dibs from local agents when good stock coming up. I've seen that with a couple of my buyer's agents that I work with. They do deliver exceptional results, but it doesn't happen every day. So I think that's an important expectation when you walk in and when you speak to your buyer's agent. They don't just have off-market opportunities every day. It comes in once in a while, and plus not all the off-market opportunities will fit your criteria. So it's not just like, oh, I found an off-market opportunity, I'm going to chuck it to David because, he's one of my buyers at the moment. No, of course not. The buyer's agent will have to actually work through whether the off-market opportunity property does actually fit your brief, so that if it ticks your boxes, then there is an opportunity to actually present that to you as a potential investment property for you to consider. Okay, so just something to clarify there. From the expectation perspective, don't expect every property that buyer's agent going to give you is going to be off market. There will be some that they were able to negotiate with existing listings for a really, really discounted price. That's another win for you, because let's say, for example, if they're able to negotiate the property below 20k or 30k below whatever the intrinsic value is, then the 10k that you pay for it is okay, because you still earn 30k in addition. So it doesn't matter that you pay 10k, but they're able to negotiate and get you the property below the actual intrinsic value. That's where a true buyer's agent will be able to shine, not just off market, but also in the negotiation price stage. So I hope that gives everyone a bit of idea about what I think, why you should use and whether you should use a buyer's agent to help you. Now, buyer's agents are fairly new, and at the same time, they do charge you for quite a bit of cost, ranging from a couple $1,000s to a percentage of the purchase price. So most people, if you cannot see the value of the buyer's agent, then my suggestion for you is don't bother, because you're not convinced. If you don't see the value, then you're not convinced about using their services, no matter how good they are. And let me tell you, good buyer's agents don't need to sell themselves. They deliver results. They got good client base that trust them, and therefore they don't need basically to hard sell you to say, hey, I need you to take me on as your buyer's agent. Hope you liked today's video. As always, if you do like it, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, comment below if you do like it. Let me know, your comments, your email is my greatest motivation to produce more of these kind of videos. So don't hesitate, spam me as much as you like. But otherwise, I'll see you guys again in next week's Invest Power episode.